If you go to the LDS Newsroom website today, you'd see stories about Christmas, service, and statements. But if the church were to make a massive purchase of, say, an industrial business complex for, say, $250 million, wouldn't that be newsworthy? Because that just happened, and the seller says it's the biggest single asset sale on the West Coast this year. Now keep in mind this is the same church that loves to brag about how much they spend on charity. Well, at least ever since their $100 billion investment accounts were exposed. See, they made their single biggest charity donation ever this year, and it amounted to a whopping 12% of this one purchase of a business park. Keep up the good work, tithing money.
If you're in a relationship with this many crazy rules, I suggest you run away from said relationship. Welcome back to the Down Bad News Network, the show that ruins your day in the best kind of way. Today in Down Bad Global News, couples' controversial marriage rules include not being alone with the opposite gender. That's one of them. It gets way worse. So the TikTok newlywed couple, Jaden and Andy, recently dropped a bunch of their marriage rules, and the list is including, but not limited to, sharing passwords on all devices, which isn't great, but whatever, it's not as bad as it gets. No secrets, which is a weird one, very abstract. Like if you take a bad poop and you're very upset about it and it ruined your day, and your girlfriend asks you what's ruining your day, do you have to tell them about the bad poop, or can you just say it's fine? I don't know if that's a weird one. Not hanging with the opposite gender alone, which we talked about already, but good God, that's such a red flag. And constantly sharing each other's locations on Life 360, which is that app that parents use to constantly monitor their children, those children which then resent the parents for the rest of their lives. It's also the app that the creator wanted destroyed because it became such a nightmare for children that he thought it was disgusting. They use that on each other in their marriage. But I'm still hung up on the opposite gender thing. That's probably the worst one for me. Like, you don't trust the other person enough, or what are you trying to prevent? If you think your significant other is just gonna go and cheat on you if they're in a room with an opposite gender, there is a bigger issue here. This is a solution to a problem that is way bigger than the solution can handle. In my personal opinion, a relationship is like 20% loving someone, 80% trusting someone. And I don't see this relationship going very far if there's absolutely zero trust involved. If you think I'm a clown for saying that, let me know in the comments. But I think I'm right here. You should have a little bit of trust for your significant other. More on this story as it develops.
Good evening. Oops, sorry. Forgot to drop the mic down. Sorry. But thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz for Talk About It Tuesday. My apologies for not being here yesterday. I know that I promised you all that I would drop 2 shows yesterday, but a series of unfortunate events had your girl down bad yesterday. But I'm back. All is well. We are here. We are here. We are queer. We are ready to... Anyhow. But as far as the last video, if you can't trust your mate, that's not your mate. That's not your mate. When you have to start giving somebody rules and y'all haven't sat down and talked about the parameters of your relationship, you know, what you expect, what's desirable to you, and vice versa, baby, let it go. Be like Elsa and just let it go. Just just let it go. Uh, cause y'all not gonna make it. Because you're gonna see what you want to see everywhere in everything. Trust and believe you will. But like I said, I was down bad yesterday, so we got a whole lot to catch up on. And yeah, we got some Bishop Whitehead, the bling bling pastor that was robbed on camera during service. We got some updates on him too. So let's get into it. And maybe at some point during the show, I'll explain to y'all what had happened yesterday. It's funny between yesterday and today, but I'm still dealing with my pride. So let's talk about Bishop Whitehead. Okay.
All right, strap in. So the minute I saw this picture of Whitehead and his lawyer coming out after he posted bail, I was like, I know her. I recognize her. Back in July when we were doing this all around the first time, I had run into her before. She had actually contributed money during a campaign event he held at a bar. She was an entertainment lawyer who had booked the acts for the fundraiser. There was something about this woman that just didn't seem right to me. He had even included her in his campaign ad with like all these other people. I was just confused on why she was there. And so I decided to deep dive her this time. And what? This was a ride. Stay tuned because I swear this is gonna be worth it. Now, she didn't become an entertainment lawyer until just February of last year. Keep in mind, that's around the same time that Whitehead is campaigning for borough president. According to her Instagram, she's a criminal attorney. This was her back in 2017. And who knows, maybe back then she really was a defense attorney for the people, fighting for people of color in the name of justice. Then in 2018, she was the defense attorney for none other than 6ix9ine. There she is sitting right next to him. Now, if you don't know the case of 6ix9ine, go read up on it on your own real quick, come back. But it's wild and was just the tip of the iceberg for the kind of people that she did end up defending. In 2017, she also represented a Love and Hip Hop star who went to prison for drug trafficking. Also representing Remy Ma from Love and Hip Hop. She's represented a slew of high-ranking gang members and seemingly connected drug dealers. She was even the lawyer for one of the mob wives. Then by 2019, she suddenly started looking like this. By 2021, she is posting pictures like this, tagged at correctional centers, saying she's meeting with clients. Going through her Instagram was a nightmare. It was clout chasing, name dropping. Oh my God, the amount of times that she tagged Fat Joe. I mean, this woman is in her 60s. I don't care if you want to get a BBL or whatever. Do what you want to make you happy, but something is wrong here. And my instincts are telling me that she is the one who found the hookup for the robbery. Oh, but just wait until you hear about this last part. Wait. In 2005, she was caught trying to sneak hundreds of pills to a client who was in prison, which could have carried up to a 7-year sentence. However, they still let her practice law. But in the year 2000, she used to be a prosecutor in the Bronx for 12 years, in line to be a judge, but was fired after providing a false alibi for her ex-boyfriend, accused of dumping a body. And something tells me that she has something to lose if Whitehead goes down. Yesterday, I went over the charges that the FBI are bringing against Bishop Lamar Whitehead, which include 1 count of wire fraud, 1 count of attempted wire fraud, 1 count of extortion, and 1 count of making false statements. So let's go ahead and break down this timeline. Now, in May of 2020 through April of 2021, Bishop Lamar Whitehead conned this woman, Pauline Anderson, out of her life savings of $90,000, promising to buy her a house. Then in July of 2021, he attempted to use that money as a down payment for a house for himself and his family in New Jersey. This deal ended up falling through. However, in December of 2021, he ended up purchasing a different home with a $4.1 million mortgage. Then we know from this notice from the lender for his mortgage that he actually had to raise his mortgage to $4.5 million in February. This means that he was no longer making payments on the house, only paying the interest. So clearly he had run out of money at this point. And we know from the indictment that in February of 2022 through April of 2022 was when he was trying to extort the $5,000 from the Bronx business owner. Now in May was when he was telling this business owner that he could curry favor with the New York government and make them millions, right? Well, now, May 25th, 2022 was when he suddenly showed up trying to negotiate the surrender. Remember, in this case, he was trying to say that the guy would only surrender if Eric Adams met with him personally, but then the guy surrendered on his own while he was in the middle of trying to negotiate this. Now it makes sense why he did this stunt. He had nothing to do with any of this. This was him trying to do a public display showing that he had connections in the government in order to convince this guy to give him $500,000. Then a mere 2 weeks later, on June 8th, 2022, was when the FBI showed up and confiscated his phone. It doesn't say how long it took for them to discover the second phone, but suddenly, a month and a half later, he's robbed on live stream. I don't care what anybody says. He hired those men, indirectly probably, to rob him. And I have a theory on how. It all started when I saw this picture of him and his lawyer after he'd been released. And that's when I realized I recognized her. I'd seen her.
You know, in regards to that lawyer, the reason why there was a change in how she looked, there are a lot of white women who think that in order to work with Black people, in order to be accepted by Black people, they have to look like the video vixen. It's extremely disrespectful, and she can't be that great of a lawyer because 6ix9ine, Mendeecees, Remy Ma, all went to prison. I don't know about the woman from Mob Wives. I saw a couple episodes of Mob Wives. I don't really know them like that. But the Mendeecees case came to my attention from someone else because of who we thought was his wife, and then we found out they were not actually married. So that sent me down a rabbit hole. Remy Ma, I'm always gonna be a fan of Remy Ma. Always, every day, all day. Love that Black woman from infinity to infinity. Okay. But yeah, this is no different than when someone says that they're an ally to the Black community, and all of a sudden they only speak AAVE around us. Y'all catch what I'm putting down? Do you catch? Do you catch what I'm putting down? But from attorney to convict. Damn, I look like the Black little orphan Annie tonight. Anywho, let's keep it moving. From attorney to convict, or convict to convict, because she was trying to. Never mind, that's her business. Let's go.
Camera video shows the moments authorities pulled over this truck and trailer in Flagstaff. The reason why?
Saw fingers poking out of the trailer.
With guns drawn, they opened the doors.
See the hands!
Finding 3 young girls.
How old are you? 14. How old are you? 11? How old are you? 12?
Also inside the trailer, a couch, camping chairs, and a makeshift toilet. When they tried questioning the girls, this woman in the maroon dress stepped in.
Basically telling them all not.
Then one of the officers noticed.
A 14-year-old, she had a ring on her finger, on her ring finger. They've all kind of like hidden those. I mean, we know what's going on here.
Police say the person driving the truck is this man, Samuel Bateman. Court documents claim Bateman is a self-proclaimed prophet, part of the polygamous group with the FLDS. Investigators say Bateman has dozens of followers and more than 20 wives, many of them underage. He's also accused of sexually abusing multiple girls, trafficking them across state lines.
As you can see, it's a pretty serious deal here, sir.
Police tried to question him about the trailer,
How many other people in the truck?
but Bateman refuses to answer.
How many other people are in the truck?
When another officer tries,
Explain to me what's going on. Calm down first.
Bateman was eventually arrested
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
after some pushback.
So you're under arrest for endangering, okay?
The next day he made bail, but was arrested again on federal charges in Colorado City, Arizona, at his encampment. Arizona authorities taking in 8 young girls found there, all said to be Bateman's wives. But while Bateman was behind bars, the FBI says he was still in contact with his followers, asking his other wives to break the girls out of Valley Group homes. They were successful, making it all the way to Spokane, Washington, before the girls and the 3 wives accused of taking them were found at an Airbnb.
But it's drag queens and the LGBTQIA plus community that we need to be worried about? I think not. Over 20 wives? When did polygamy become legal within the United States? When did human trafficking become legal in the United States? And he's being aided and abetted, once again, by white women. But so many white women wonder why we can't trust them. You will throw your own under the bus. You know full well the danger that this man poses to young girls. Girls. Not women. 26 and older that have a fully developed frontal lobe. And as much as folks love sister wives, aren't they imploding right now? Excuse me. But from one idiot to the next, let's get into some Trumper logic. And I want y'all to sit on the fact that they're worried about, I keep telling y'all, it's smoke and mirrors. They gonna have you look over there when what goes bump in the dark is standing right here. Let's get into some Trumper logic, because I think this fits in with the last story.
Trump 2024, liberal tears gonna be filling the streets when they count the results of that election. You really think he could win? You got dang right he's gonna win by landslide. I'm just shocked you're so enthusiastic that he could win in 2024. Well, by God, why wouldn't I be? I mean, I thought you said they stole the election from him in 2020. You got dang right they did. He won by a landslide. Then why are you excited that he's running in 2024? Because I'm ready for him to win and be back in the White House. You got a learning disability? But you think they stole the election from him in 2020, right? I don't think nothing. I know they stole it. If that's true, then why wouldn't they just steal it from him again? Oh, shit.
Well, let's check in on Kristen Cinema. She must have some logic behind her. She couldn't possibly be deluded in the cerebellum, right? Right?
I got some tea! I got some tea, I got some tea, I got some tea! A 37-page personal memo from Kristen Cinema's office has just leaked. Oh, I know the juicy! New staffers going to work for Kristen Cinema are expected to attend to a multitude of personal tasks for the first-term senator. Oh, here comes the ethics investigation. The memo reportedly states that aides need to check in with her if she needs groceries. Bitch, I am not your fucking grocer. I am not your DoorDasher. Should have room temperature bottle of water. Who do you fuck you think you are, Mariah Carey? Have room temperature bottled water at hand if she needs one, and should be prepared to schedule weekly 1-hour massages. They need to be mindful of her personal time, which includes training for extensive scheduled training and competing for marathons. She has time-consuming commitments outside of this job. Arizona, I hate to tell you this, but she's not there for you, okay? Schedule weekly 1-hour massages? Who the fuck does she think she is? This is embarrassing. Girl, you a grown-ass woman, get your own goddamn bottle of water, your own groceries, and schedule your own massages.
Okay, I'm wrong. She's just another white woman, white womaning. She's just cosplaying being liberal and leftist and understanding. And once again, this is why I have a whole line in my merch that says, until it's no white women, it's all white women. But GOP and voting, they must be catching the hints at this point, right? I mean, after everything that's happened because of the insurrection, the Twitter files, Trump investigations, the midterm, they must have got it together, right? Let's check in with them.
So get this, 201 Republicans just voted against audits of presidential tax records. Yeah, I wonder why the overwhelming majority of Republicans don't support auditing the taxes of presidents. Obviously, it's to protect Donald Trump and people like him in the future. Whether Republicans like it or not, Donald Trump's tax returns will be released to the public. And yeah, we should audit the taxes of every single president, and their taxes should be released to the public.
Okay. 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 Local council meetings got to be getting it right. They got to, you know what?
I just want to start with, I wasn't ready. Just look. I'm in favor of everybody being who they are. I love it.
Good evening.
Good evening. They weren't ready. Clearly.
Good evening, council peoples. You may call me mistress. I am here standing neutral to the motion approving an agreement for the proprietary purchase of yard waste processing and disposal. I do, however, find it interesting that you will spend almost $1 million to hide your secrets down the drain.
Florida, this is you.
Hiding that condom I know you used to cheat on your spouse with. So, I propose that you use a quarter of that mill to support DOMs and subs in Broward County.
Why not?
To build a dungeon.
Why not?
Created for us by us.
Why not?
The taxpayers and voting citizens.
They are.
In closing, do not let this glamorous look distract you from doing your duty to take my demand. I look forward to spanking each and every single one of you at the new esteemed dungeon. You are dismissed.
Okay, thank you. And happy holidays to you.
You know some
Anyone
of
else
them
wish to
men
speak?
were like, ow.
There being none,
City manager, are there any districts that have a dungeon?
not that I know of.
Okay, just wanted to check. Thank
I
you.
thought there was one at the Sapphire.
No,
It's
no,
fair.
please.
Wait,
I know
so
there
my-
were a couple of proposed clubs of a variety of natures from a couple of years ago. I thought they were mostly in District 2, though.
Mostly, we have a lot of things going on in District
Why do
2.
they know where they're at?
But no, I don't think we have any dungeons. But
But they know where they're
there
at.
you go.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve
Approve it.
CP3? So moved.
Approve
Do I hear a
it.
second?
Second, but not
Second.
for the dungeon.
Spence, second.
Why not? Let people live.
Commissioner Herbst?
They vote. They pay taxes.
Commissioner Glassman?
She has a point, though. I mean, BDSM does need safe space. They do. You know what? I know somebody. I know somebody who has some good sense that can give us some good news. Okay? Here we go.
So incoming House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, who's replacing Nancy Pelosi in the next Congress, just gave an incredible press conference where he did not mince any words about the MAGA circus. This is why he's going to make an incredible leader. You got to watch this.
Look at what's happening right now. House Republicans are attacking Senate Republicans. Senate Republicans are calling House Republicans silly and immature. The leadership situation is in chaos. Marjorie Taylor Greene is fighting with Lauren Boebert, and George Santos appears to be starring in the sequel to Catch Me If You Can, and it's not even January 3rd. The circus has already come to town. Chaos, crisis, confusion, and craziness versus Democrats who deliver for the American people.
Well, I see no lies detected there. I see absolutely no lies detected there. But as Hakeem is coming into his new position, uh, there's a member of Congress that's already been in position that was like, oh, if you need to show up every day and do your job. Oh, you know what? Let me just show y'all. Let me just show y'all.
Instead of being in Washington, D.C. and voting on really important bills, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been vacationing in Costa Rica. This is one of the most consequential legislative weeks of the year, and she just decided not to show up. Like, think about your own job, one of the most important times during the year, and you just say, no, I actually don't feel like working today. That is what she's saying to the American people, and she's off in Costa Rica having a great time. It's ridiculous. Republicans gotta hold their own accountable.
And just before I play the second part of this expose on Marjorie Taylor Greene, her divorce from her husband was finalized just a few days before Christmas. So, is she one of those pick-me's that puts a man or a relationship before everything else? Is she? Because, baby, boop, boop, bop. I remember you putting out a series of tweets and even putting out a poll on Twitter saying, should members of Congress be able to go against the Constitution and not show up for their voting, not show up to do their job? But other tweets you claim to be pro-Constitution. Oh, shoot. Shucks, y'all. I wasn't supposed to point that out. Why didn't y'all tell me I wasn't supposed to point that out? Margarine is going to be so verklempt with me. Like I give a damn.
You guys, come here. So this was Marjorie Sporkfoot on 11 of 2021. 37 Republicans are not here while we're trying to stop the literal socialist takeover of America. They are proxy voting. Sporkfoot again on 8/11 of 2022. Tomorrow, Congress votes to spend hundreds of billions to create an 87,000 armed IRS army and taxpayers funding. What? Does she believe that? She believes that. And then she does a poll. Should members of Congress be able to vote by proxy, or should an in-person quorum be required like the Constitution requires? Everybody said yes! Oh my God! This is Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday. I'm voting by proxy. Apparently she's vacationing in Costa Rica. Her freezing constituents are really on her mind. Wonder who she's with. She just got a divorce. Oh, the tea.
So even though she polled her constituency, she did the opposite of what they wanted. I don't know about you. I've had bosses. I've been the boss. When there's a general consensus of this is what the people want, you go with what the people want. Like, as long as it's not going to cause harm or detriment. And when people go, hey, I want you to stick to the confines of the Constitution of the United States. She trying to have a hot girl summer in winter in Costa Rica. But we black women are hot in the pants. Okay. Okay. I mean, just she definitively thinks that she's a god. She thinks that she has control of Kevin McCarthy. Should he become the Speaker of the House? But nobody wants Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker of the House. And I think this is my theory. I think a lot of the rest of the GOP doesn't want Kevin McCarthy to become Speaker of the House because of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Because it would be a situation that he would just be there as a figurehead. But also, the figurehead that keeps on giving. There are a lot of legal scholars that are weighing in on the whole Trump shenanigans. And they're saying with everything that's been presented, he going to jail. He going to jail. But let's take a little snippet of a moment to talk about the Trump woes. Let's go.
We have some more terrible legal news for Donald Trump. So you know how back in May, a subpoena was sent to Donald Trump to get those classified documents back and out of his possession, but he refused? Well, there's more to the story. The Department of Justice has a cooperating witness that says Donald Trump ordered them to move the boxes to his residence after the May grand jury subpoena, presumably so he could hide them from the Department of Justice to not give the documents back. And that is exactly what the DOJ thought was going on. This is clearly obstruction of justice.
And now do you understand why Trump is unraveling on Truth Social? Now I'm currently in TikTok jail on my main account. My backup is up, and that is at CincyTaz77. Just like all of my profiles, just take my username and put a 77 after it. You can find me over on the TikTok. And I already have enough followers that I can go live. So maybe at some point after this broadcast, I'll go live. And if you want, we can discuss this even more. But yeah, Trump, this is beyond a dumpster fire. This is Mount Kilimanjaro. This is Mount St. Helen 2.0. He has stuffed the volcano so much that, yeah. But he's not the only one that's been screwing themselves. We know about what Greg Abbott did on Christmas Eve. But let's talk about the DeSantis fumble. Ew.
Ron DeSantis is surging in the polls, surging above Donald Trump. He's beaten President Biden in head-to-head matchups. He's in the media damn near every day. He's launched the culture war here in Florida. He's pretty much won it. He won re-election by 1.5 million votes in the midterms. The guy is flying as high as can possibly be. But he has no chance of winning a presidential election. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think I am, because I've lived under DeSantis's rule for 4 years now, and the things that I've been pointing out about him for the last 4 years are now things that other Republicans are starting to point out as well. For example, the fact that the guy is just socially awkward. He can't look people in the eye when he's talking to them. He doesn't like to be around people. And of course, he does terribly in debates, and he shows his emotions and gets flustered and can't stay on topic. It's a big problem for him. But more importantly, according to a recent post in the New Republic, which I found absolutely brilliant, Ron DeSantis also has no actual accomplishments to speak of. Not just during his last 4 years as governor. He has accomplishments in the culture war, which is red meat for the Republican base, but when it comes to actually solving real problems that actually exist, throughout his entire career, DeSantis has never done anything.
Before he became governor here in the state of Florida, he served in the U.S. House of Representatives 3 terms, 6 years. During that time, he sponsored 52 different pieces of legislation, most of it performative anti-Obamacare BS. Of those 52 bills that he sponsored, do you know how many actually ended up becoming law? 0. Not a single one. So 6 years in the House of Representatives with absolutely 0 accomplishments to show for it. But that didn't matter to Republicans here in Florida. He ran his campaign in 2018 talking about how much he loved Trump. They voted for him. They voted for him by even bigger margins this past year because of the culture war stuff. But what has he done for Floridians? Well, the New Republic points to actually 2 things he did that benefited Floridians, depending on your preferences and your life. First thing he did was this year he signed a tax cut saying that there's no sales tax for 1 year only, an election year, on baby food and baby clothes, which is great if you've got kids. That's a good thing. It's also very obviously pandering, as the New Republic points out. The other thing he did, he eliminated the sales tax on NASCAR tickets. Yeah. We have 3 professional football teams in the state. We've got professional basketball teams. We've got lots of college football teams that are massive programs. We got hockey teams. We got all that. But nope, just NASCAR. And I think we all know who he's pandering to with that one, right? But here's the thing. Florida has also seen the highest increase in housing prices in the country. We have seen our economic situation deteriorate. And Ron DeSantis has done absolutely nothing to fix that. So when I tell you he can't win on the national stage, it's because all the Democrats have to do to attack him is show his record of failure.
See, that's the Republican way. Do you all know what the Republican platform is for 2023? To block all legislation until the Democrats agree to eliminate Social Security and Medicare. They're going to do the same thing to Joe Biden that they did to Obama. They're performative. They'll sit here and get on social media and go, the government isn't doing anything. And their constituents are like, oh, yeah, you're right, forgetting that it's the government telling them that the government isn't doing anything. Ron DeSantis has been nothing but performative. Is he far more dangerous than Trump? Yes. But has he put himself in a position to be on a national platform? No. Because who goes from being a congressman to a governor? You go from being a governor to a nobody goes from being the CEO of a company to the janitorial staff. You don't go from being the CFO to the administrative assistant. That's not what you do. Everything is performative for Ron DeSantis. And it works in Florida because you have right now, a bunch of racist retirees. But there's one thing that a poli-sci professor of mine said to the whole class in college. It was like day 3 of class. And he asked us, he said, at this point, why is the crime rate in Florida so low? And everybody was scrambling for their different responses. And he said, I don't even want you to answer. I'm going to tell you. Florida is basically a retirement and a vacation spot. You're going to have influxes. You're going to have peaks and valleys of any and everything, depending on the time of year, depending on who's down there. the bulk of their income is retirees and tourism. Not taking away from the people who were born and raised there and decide to continue to stay there, the people that go there. But the thing about it is, you have the majority of it. You heard this man say they have a lot of professional sports. When you play a professional, you got to move there. When you're in college, you got to move there. You can't be an online athlete in Nebraska for Florida. That's not going to work out for practices and games and everything else. So the people who actually live there overwhelmingly, because, you know, Florida for decades has been the retiree capital of the United States. Where do y'all think the Klan goes to retire? They're surely not going to Alaska. Yeah, that's exactly what the GOP does, especially people like Trump, Kari Lake, who's recently been sanctioned, Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott. They want to make it seem like there's a war on certain things, and these certain things ruffle the feathers of racist white people. That's why when you get on social media, you hear and you see racist white people all have the same story. When you ask them, have you ever experienced racism? What do they all say? Well, when I was in school or I lived in this neighborhood, I was beat up by black people. They always make black people the villain and the most violent villains of all. As if unprovoked, you just walk past a black person and they want to bop you on the head. But history says that's white people shit. Just like this week on TikTok, there was a whole white woman who made up a story and made black women in general the victim. She said she was going to the Walmart after she learned so much on the TikTok. Baby, if you learned so much on the TikTok, why did you need to ask a question and why did you need to go to the Walmart? She said she was going to find a shower cap, but decided to ask a black woman about a silk bonnet. Who's wearing a silk bonnet in the shower? And who said a silk bonnet was the cure for PCOS hair loss? And then she said that this black woman told her, get over to your side of the aisle. Since when do we have aisles in Walmart? And since when do black people talk like that? But from one performer to the next. Pay close attention. Here we go. Buckle up.
Why do you not like black people?
I already told you.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
You never gave me a reason. What have they ever done to you?
I just said they did anything to me.
Well, then why do you not like them?
They make me nervous.
Well, you think, but if black people have never done anything to you, why would they make you nervous?
They just do. They commit a lot of crime.
So do white people.
They make me nervous too.
No. But you're not racist towards white people.
I'm white. How can I be a racist towards white people?
But why do you use the N-word?
Because it's a descriptor.
It is not. It's a slur.
And you never heard me use that term.
I have heard you use it.
Oh, yeah.
Never?
Don't use it.
You have used it.
I may have, being facetious, but I never used that term ever in my life.
You used it last night when we were talking about Blazing Saddles.
Well, I know I was just trying to make a point to you that I don't want to watch that shit.
Well, I mean, you can't say you've never used it in your life when you've used it.
Well, okay, I use it. I use it all the time. It's my business.
But if black people have never done anything to you, I don't know why you'd hate them so much.
I don't hate them. I just wish they'd go away.
That sounds like hate to me. Are you a white supremacist?
Not really, not anymore.
No, but you used to be?
Not really. See, Tim, you cannot put your mind back in the day when I was growing up. Then weren't racist. It wasn't considered racist.
People
it
back
was not. Will you listen to me and shut up for a minute?
Oh my God!
It was not considered racist. It was just the way things were. Now you can.
And it's just the way things seem to be. Now, there are a lot of people on TikTok that are eating this up and duetting and stitching it and going, oh, that is clapping for this. Expose your He's still sitting there with his grandfather at his big old age. He's referring back to conversations they've had over the years. He's always known that his grandfather was like this, but he still goes to take care of his grandfather. And here's a little caveat I'm pretty sure most of y'all didn't know. So get ready to screen record. In 5, 4, 3, 2. The person recording this came after a black historian. Go to TikTok and type in Brister English Project. That's a black man that's truly trying to connect black people to their roots. He attacked him. And right now people are patting this performative white man on the back. And if you don't follow my blog, you might want to, because I wrote about this a few weeks ago. Don't be performative over the holidays and act like you checking somebody that you're going back to the next day or the next week. Don't sit here and go, oh, I got a gotcha moment with my grandpa who's racist and I'm better than him. No, you're not. Because you're using black trauma for clout. You're using black trauma to dupe black people that aren't in the know. You've had conversations with this grandfather over the years. You continue to go over there because I don't see anybody else around. Now, who we congratulate is the rest of your family. Because on Christmas, they weren't there, seemingly. Because nobody was chiming in. Nobody else was around. He said with his whole chest, he's always been this way. So you grew up knowing this man was this way. So even after you deprogrammed yourself, you still go over there to him. Why? Because you think black people are that simple that if we see one video of you questioning him, that's going to make us believe that you're not racist? This is why I say I don't give a damn about your holiday bullshit. Like there's a white woman on TikTok right now going, my family and I, we don't have the same political belief. You still went to dinner with them. You're still around them. You're still making sure they're good. I'm blackity black, black, black. I stand up for black people all day. Black, indigenous, Asian, Latina, you name it. I have cut off family members for problematic bullshit. I don't fuck with them. You're not going to catch me in a video, a picture, a post with them on any day, especially a holiday. But we're supposed to be impressed because you interviewed your racist ass grandfather after you attacked a whole black man? On what planet do we do that? On what planet? And black people, especially black women, come in close. I need to talk to y'all. Stop being so fucking benevolent and being so willing to believe somebody has our best interest in mind because of some bullshit like this. You were born from critical thinkers. You were raised by critical thinkers. Why the fuck are you taking the critical thinking cap off? Like, do y'all just take the knowledge that the ancestors passed down to us and just throw it in the garbage? Like, I know everybody isn't built for activism. I get it. But there are many cogs within the machine for us to move forward to get equity. And you don't have to be an activist to do it. But the one thing you can't be is fucking stupid. And because y'all so stupid, trigger warning. Once again, white people adopting non-white babies and the consequences.
So let's talk about these two and how they left North Carolina to go to South Africa just to adopt children to torture them.
A Ugandan state prosecutor told a court in Kampala on Wednesday that an American couple charged with torturing their foster child were a flight risk. The pair's lawyer argued they should be granted bail on medical grounds. Nicholas Spencer and his wife Mackenzie Lee Matthias Spencer pleaded not guilty after they were charged with aggravated torture of a 10-year-old boy in their care while living in a Kampala suburb. They have been remanded in custody since Friday. Prosecutor Joan Keko gave details of the alleged torture, saying that the child was made to sleep on wooden platforms with no bedding and was stripped naked at times.
The American couple realized that their visas in Uganda had expired. They didn't have any work permits, and they were renting in the suburbs of Kampala, which made them a flight risk.
The couple's lawyer said both the accused had ailments requiring care which could not be given in prison. Keko said there was no ailment that could not be treated in prison. According to police, Spencer and his wife came to Uganda in 2017 and a year later fostered 3 children, including the alleged victim.
Now, just to be clear, these two are from North Carolina. They went over to Uganda and they were like, we're going to sponsor children, we're going to adopt children, and bring God into their life, is one of the quotes that I read on them. And you can catch a longer clip of the hearing on YouTube, but they look like that the whole time, like emotionless, like completely emotionless. And the only reason why they actually got caught is the caretaker of the children noticed the one child always being in the room and no one knowing why he was in the room. And when she...
Let me break something down to you. Racists have always and will always continue to use bastardized versions of the Bible as Christians to dehumanize Black and brown people. They were able to do this because they did not see that child as human. Additionally, adoptive parents have a disconnect with the children. They don't see them as their own, so they don't see them as needing to be protected. They get these children for a reason. There's a whole subreddit about it. Now, are there some adoptees that are fervently brainwashed? Yes, I have met one myself. that she didn't even realize. She was a part of a transracial adoption, and these people were fervently racist, and the only reason they adopted her and her brother was to try to prove that they weren't racist. She grew up in a get out house, and it took me and another person thinking she knew, cracking a few jokes, for her to get it and break down and be like, oh shit, you didn't realize that? And what's even more sad than that, this transracial adoptee immerses herself in white peopleisms to the point where in the house that she lives in, she's treated like the help and doesn't catch it. When company comes over, she's condemned to the basement, but she doesn't get it. See, there's long-term ramifications to things. And this is why we say certain things and try to bring your attention to certain methodologies. But y'all just say we have a victim mentality. No. You just didn't expect Black people to have discernment. Because in your bastardized version of the Bible, discernment only comes to the and not the, because you don't want to tell people that there were a whole lot of slaves that were already baptized and already Christian before you put them on those boats. You don't want to tell people that within the Church of Ethiopia is the complete text of the Bible, not the text of the Bible that a white appearing priest went into a cave and deciphered through all the books and was like, you know what? These are the books we're going to include. And the books don't even coincide with each other if you actually read them and pay attention. Because if you just, we're not going to talk about Christ's birth. Let's talk about Christ's death. All you good Christians, did you never notice that Luke, Matthew, John, and Paul, their accounts don't line up? But they were there, right? Y'all didn't want women in the pulpit for so long. You didn't want to listen to us. And for the most part, you still don't want to listen to us. Unless we're just making a spectacle or we got on a cute outfit and a big ass hat. But why don't the accounts add up? We're not talking about, little minor things. Like, I've been at events with people. I've even been on vacation with people. Well, depending on where you're standing, your perspective, your life view, you might say things a little different. No. Completely different accounts. And you all use each one of those different accounts to condemn people in a different way. Meaning you're running head first into the fact that this shit don't add up. But you don't want to pull out a calculator. But you're also the same ones that in the United States want to act like Black history began with slavery. Like we just didn't exist until slavery. Well, you know what else is a little sneaky? What Ohio did. Oh yeah, over the past week and the weekend, Ohio got sneaky with it. So if you live in Ohio or you know somebody from Ohio, once again, share this, tell them at this moment, or start your screen record in 5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm sorry, you weren't watching Ohio news at 1 a.m. the other night? Here's what happened. Ohio Republicans wanted to pass a whole bunch of bills before they went home for holiday break. They started during daylight hours and passed a bill that will stop anyone in any way connected to abortion from providing sexual assault education to kids. That's probably going to include hospitals. Hospitals provide abortions. It'll be interesting to see if this is one of those times when Republicans next year are like, whoops, we didn't know it would do that. That happens a lot. Then they made everyone wait around for a while they did a bunch of backroom negotiations. They basically waited for everyone in Ohio to go to bed. Then it was time for chaos. They started throwing bills into other bills, and no one had any idea what was going on. Great way to run a state government. Then they brought out this massive 2,000-page bill that no one had read. It would stop trans girls from participating in sports. It would take all the power from the State Board of Education and give it to the governor. It would overhaul the Department of Education. There was anti-vax stuff in there. And Democrats were like, this seems like a problem. And apparently the backroom negotiations weren't going very well because the House kept taking more breaks. And reporters trying to do their jobs and tell us what was happening were like, but they tried to vote on it anyway. And it failed. Activism mattered. Enough people had called and emailed and angry tweeted throughout the week that some politicians kept their consciences even late at night. But then, this bill. While you were sleeping, in the middle of the night, Ohio Republicans passed a bill that's going to make it much harder for many eligible adult Ohioans to vote. This bill heavily restricts the use of drop boxes, it shortens the amount of time you have to early vote, and it takes away a lot of the options that Ohioans used to have to prove their identity while voting. It even bans Ohio from counting a lot of ballots that come in late because the mail was slow, including military ballots coming in from overseas, all in the middle of the night while most Ohioans were sleeping. Check out this article about massive changes to Ohio's elections filed at 4:55 a.m. Cool. There's still one chance left to stop this voter suppression bill. If this guy, Governor Mike DeWine, vetoes it. Tell Governor DeWine to veto HB 458. Protect voting rights in Ohio.
See, every time people want to take away educating people on sexual literacy, sexually transmitted disease, sexual health, what sexual assault is, it always comes back to bite them in the butt because it's generally their family members. They get caught up. Let me tell y'all a little story real quick. There was a woman who was a good family friend. Her family was really close families with my family, my core family, like my parents, my siblings. Every time my daughters had a birthday party, had a sleepover, her daughters were not allowed to come over because I had sons. And I was like, my sons won't even be here. Like, we're having a girls' sleepover. My sons are going off to a sleepover of their own. Like, they don't want to be here. And I don't want them interrupting the girls' good time. Not because they would do something sinister to these girls. They just like pranking their sisters. I didn't want them pranking the girls all night. But she put these girls in a situation that they never had any interaction with any boys outside of one cousin, one uncle, their grandfather, and their father. Girls moved across the country to California. Girls kept getting into situations that they couldn't get out of. They had never been socialized around boys, let alone men. They didn't pick up on the cues that the rest of us that were socialized around boys were taught to pick up on. See, sometimes y'all try to protect your children so much that you are a detriment to your children. You set them up to become victims. You set them up for them to feel like so much of their life was wasted, that so much of their life was a loss. You set them up to feel like they don't deserve happiness and they just take what they can get. Instead of going to therapy and dealing with whatever happened to you. If you went to that friend's house and that friend's brother or father or uncle came to, you should have told your parents. You should have gotten therapy. You should have gotten help. Even if you had to wait till you were an adult, but you don't do that. You just go, oh, this happened to me, so this is going to happen at every house. And I understand being skeptical of people. But if you breaking bread with folks damn near every day, you're also showing that you haven't taken the time to get to know anybody in that situation. You so sitting there unhealed that all you see around you is stranger danger. You've missed out on adding to your support team. You've missed out on so much stuff. And you put your children in situations that they should not have been in. See, the situations you think you're avoiding, you just amplify. You just amplify for your kids. Because when you don't socialize your children and they have no idea what to look out for, baby, you're not protecting them. You're not. I'm not saying put your children in harm's way. That is not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm advocating. Hear me and hear me clearly. I'm saying when you remove all of their interactions with certain demographics, when they become adults and they have no idea what's right or wrong with those certain demographics. All they can do is emulate what they saw from you. And generally what they emulate, oh, well, this person is cute. Mama was always around somebody that was cute. Daddy was always around somebody that was cute. Mama and daddy always had people that was cute. Oh, these people are very complimentary. Those are the people that was always around mama and daddy and grandma and grandpa. Like, they have no discernment. They have zero discernment. And then when you find yourself having to hop on the plane in the middle of the night because your children done had to lock themselves in a bathroom, but their phone's on the other side of the door, then what? Y'all need to think better. You have to heal yourself before you bring somebody else's self into this plane. Stop having children because you think that children will automatically heal you. Stop having children because you don't want to die alone, baby. Having children does not automatically make you a good parent. It does not mean that you will not die alone, baby. Children are not obligated to take care of you. You summoned them here. They did not write you a letter, an email, a tweet, a DM to be here. You assigned yourself as their protector. You assigned yourself as their caregiver. They never signed up to take care of you. And just because you pop somebody out or you put your goody juices into the batter to make them does not mean that they're obligated to take care of you because you get old and sickly. Stop having children because you're afraid to be alone. Stop having children because you desire a bestie. If you don't have any friends now, baby, having a child is not going to give you an automatic friend. You need to look within and then work to push that within without. Because a lot of y'all, you have amazing people around you. Well, you had, but you lost them because you looked at them as the strong friend that didn't need to be checked up on. You looked at them as the strong friend that didn't need to be supported. You use them for a step up and stuff. You use them to get into relationships where all you did was talk about them and how great they were, and this person could meet them. Y'all know where I'm going. And you lost that good support system because of you having a child. And don't do this to animals either. Don't go get you a cat, a dog, a rabbit, a ferret, a parrot. I don't give a fuck what it is. Go fix yourself. And speaking of going to fix yourself, woo, the tea is hot in these true crime streets. And this is why I tell y'all all the time. Stop trying to come up with your own theories on stuff, knowing that you will never have all of the information. As much information as we have on the JonBenet Ramsey case, no true crime sleuth has been able to solve it, because as much as they've released, they've redacted a lot so that they have something to catch a predator. Let's go.
Proclaimed internet sleuth sued for defamation after she repeatedly claims a University of Idaho history professor is responsible for the murders of 4 students. So how strong is this professor's case? Imagine waking up one day and finding out that there's a TikTok page basically dedicated to calling you a murderer. That happened to Professor Rebecca Schofield of the University of Idaho. She is a history professor there, and Schofield is suing a woman named Ashley Gillard for defamation after Gillard posted more than 20 videos accusing Schofield of taking part in the murders and having a relationship with one of the victims. Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were all murdered in an off-campus home on November 13th. Schofield.
This woman has not stopped. There's over 20 videos on her account even after the cease and desist. It has also been brought to my attention that this same woman is stalking at least one other TikTok creator. This is my issue with true crime podcast, true crime creators. Their focus is on the clicks, the gotcha moments, all of these things. It's not about facts. And even when they make these outlandish claims and then the cases are solved, nobody holds them accountable. So they go on and wreck another family. They go on and increase another family's trauma. But you know, a fraud is a fraud is a fraud. Oh, and speaking of fraud, we got some George Santos updates. The congressman-elect that nobody really knows who he really is.
So he's cleared up a lot tonight. A lot of things make sense now. He's now trying to say, I never claimed to be Jewish. I said I was Jew-ish. So that makes everything better. Oh, fuck. Would you look at that? He admitted he lied about his college history, his work history. He was also caught in a lie about his genealogy. He's from Brazil. He is not Jewish. He did not have grandparents that fled World War II. Republicans do not care about principle, they want the power. They don't care about governing or taking care of their constituents, they just want power. And if you're a Republican, if you are a constituent of one of these people, just understand that power is not for you. It was never for you. It will never be for you. Look at who Republicans give tax breaks to. Then you know where that power goes. We got some tea. We got some tea. We may have a way to get rid of George Santos. He may be going to jail. He's now under investigation in 2 different states. This is what we just found out. He stole his mother's checkbook, bounced a bunch of checks. He was working at a call center making $15 an hour. He was taken to court multiple times for not paying his rent or not paying his friend back, who helped him move into his boyfriend's house in 2014. But he was married for 7 years and he just got a divorce 2 years ago. Listen, that's a hot mess. In his filings for running for Congress, George Santos loaned his campaign $705,000. Guy who was working at a call center who multiple times were taken to court for not paying his bills. How could he have afforded that? He worked at a call center, not Goldman Sachs, had unpaid debts, and could not afford a funeral for his mom, who claims survived 9/11. Oh, that would be why he could afford it. Yeah, that's why.
The grifting and the GOP. Just, you know, speaking of grifting and the GOP, they like to protect people. Now, I know why they're not protecting little Mr. Georgie George. He's brown and he's gay, but guess who they're trying to protect?
Well, hey there, y'all. So in today's You're Not the Victim news, unless y'all have been living under a rock, you should know who the Libs of TikTok is on Twitter. This account has been responsible for doxing and posting the personal information of dozens of creators from TikTok who are LGBTQIA+ and others. One person that she did this to is actually a friend of mine here on TikTok. This person is a drag queen and also a middle school teacher. And Libs of TikTok decided to take it upon themselves to splash his information all over her Twitter, leaving this person at the mercy of disgusting, nasty trolls who did their best to get him fired. For quite a while, no one actually knew who ran Libs of TikTok until an intrepid reporter from the New York Times was able to find out. This is Shia Rychick. She is a former real estate agent living in California. She is directly responsible for dozens of people being harassed, bullied, and doxxed, and has the nerve to say that she didn't reveal her identity because of the, quote, violent left. Today on an interview with Fucker Carlson, she reveals that many of her supporters came out in droves to support her once her identity was revealed.
I will say this, when I was doxxed, someone from Ron DeSantis' team called me.
Really?
Yes. And she said, the governor wanted me to give you a message. He said, if you don't feel safe, or you or your family, if you need a place to go, to hide, to stay, you can come to the governor's mansion.
What?
He said we have a guest house for you.
Ron Death Sentence isn't the only GOP politician to have reached out to Libs of TikTok, who purveys nothing but toxicity. Marjorie Taylor Greene also personally called to speak with her for about 30 minutes, and she is so proud of that. This is the person who is personally responsible for exposing dozens of creators to threats, harassment, and possible loss of their employment simply for being a member of the LGBTQ community. But she wants y'all to feel sorry for her because she was doxxed. She wanted to stay hidden behind her mask of hatred and not reap any of the consequences for her actions. You can believe that her appearance on Fucker Carlson is not going to be the last time we see her. She'll ride the tales of her hatred and bigotry all the way to the bank.
I'm going to tell you the real reason why she hid her identity and did what she did. Did you catch her last name? Did you catch her last name? So yes, she is about to Candace Owens Hodge twins, Diamond and Silk, her way, Herschel Walker, her way right onto the bank, because she's going to be their token for now. It might last a month, might not even last that long. But yeah, they're all up in rage that she was doxxed. But they don't give a damn about the people that she doxxed. And I remember when I was alerted to her account on Twitter, somebody was like, hey, you have a Twitter account, right? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, have you heard of Libs of TikTok? And I was like, you asked me about Twitter. What the fuck are you talking about? Like it. So I thought it was weird that you would name yourself Libs of TikTok on Twitter. And then there was no rhyme or reason. Like, I have an issue. Some people call it call out culture. I call it doxing culture, where people are like, oh, this person did something wrong. This is where they live. This is what. Now, if this person broke the law, if they committed a hate crime, I'm a firm believer. Don't make a video on social media. Just take the information to the powers that be. I'm not saying protect the racist, protect the problematic person, but what the fuck is the internet going to do? Like, there are crazies out there. See, putting certain information out led to a mom and pop pizzeria damn near being shut down because of Pizzagate. Bullshit information led to the January 6th insurrection and Trump's self-coup. Like, if a crime is committed, report the crime to the authorities. Go through the proper channels. If that doesn't work, then yes, make a grassroots start, a grassroots foundation on social media to get justice. We've seen this work 101 times. But saying, hey, this person is fucked up and making a whole career out of it, this is their name, this is where they work, this is where they live. We've seen this backfire so many times because, once again, like I always say, people think that they're Inspector Clouseau and really they're Inspector Gadget. If the United States police force can't close the majority of their crimes, what makes you think you can? And most of y'all don't even know where to start with your research. Y'all think that a name somebody put online is actually their name. Because I've seen 3 times this week where the wrong person has been targeted and their life has been put in jeopardy. Because somebody was scouring the internet and was like, you know what, I'm going to make a profile with their name. But, as always, the shit y'all choose to believe is the shit y'all choose to believe. Because I watched a whole live of somebody make themselves a victim while breaking the fucking law. And everybody, oh my, we gotta protect her. Protect her from what? Herself? Anywho. Now, on to some actual victims of racism. Let's roll the
Real quick, did y'all hear about the 2 older black women that were kicked off of Amtrak because their dog pooped on the train and were left stranded in Grand Junction? These 2 older black women were trying to get to Chicago and were left stranded in Grand Junction, Colorado. Let's watch.
Sir, I was a witness to this. They are mistreating them and the dog. If they're going to have a policy of letting the dog on a train, the dog, they cleaned up their poop.
Give me 1 second, okay, and I'll be right with you. The only thing is, if they want you off the train, whatever reasons they want you off the train.
Because they're black? You want them off the train because they're black?
Give me a second, I'll be right with you.
No, this is not right.
First off, shout out to this individual for being willing enough to speak up for these two black queens, but I'm really curious as to why they thought it had something to do with race.
Yeah, no, she's okay.
Maybe this is why.
Yeah, she's like,
Oh, her arm is through the neck.
Their words, not mine.
She's like bursting out of her sweater.
how cute.
All it takes is one, and by this person's willingness to step up and say something, that encouraged others to do so as well. Let's watch.
That doggy's been here for the last day and a half. Why in the hell would they kick them off now?
Yeah,
Doesn't make any
well,
sense.
because one little, can I record you? Because one little,
I would prefer you didn't.
okay, well, I've been recording this whole thing.
Yeah, no, I
But
understand.
no, I need witnesses. I need other people to speak up because nobody speaks up anymore.
And just when you thought they were done, check this out.
Hey, how did you feel about him kicking off those two black ladies? You have no comment?
No comment.
So as an employee of Amtrak, you have no comment?
No comment.
Basically, he kicked them off and stranded them.
Did you know the whole situation?
You know what? It doesn't really matter. Was it handled correctly? Was it handled correctly? You have no comment?
No comment, sir.
Huh. I thought it was racist.
Have a good day, sir.
I thought it was racist. What did you think?
Inside the terminal.
I thought it was racist.
Right over there.
As a black guy, didn't you think it was racist or no?
I have no comment, sir.
No, you're just a corporate. You're just a corporate guy. You're just a corporate guy.
Sir, is there a problem I can help you?
Yeah, there is a problem. This guy that conducted this train was a creep and a racist, and I want him fired.
Okay, well,
And we're gonna find out who it is. He's gonna be on social media.
Counter, should we? And go talk
Why? Why do we need it? Why do I need to do
This is a
that?
very serious accusation you're making.
Well, yeah, it is.
Do we need to call the police?
Well, he kicked off
Do we
two
call the
black
police?
ladies in Grand Junction.
Why would we do that? We don't.
Well, he
do we
called the
think we do
police.
that for fun?
Yeah,
We
he-
get people off the train.
Oh,
for fun
because a
here?
little dog pooped on the.
Well, that
pooped?
means the dog can't stay on the train, and if the people choose
Because
to
it
get off
pooped?
with the dog, yeah,
Huh?
that sounds about right.
Really?
Yeah.
That's about right.
Now tag the originator in the description. I want you to like, share, comment, tag other people, and let's boost this video.
Did you catch that there were other animals on this train? Did you catch that these women immediately cleaned up after their animals? My question is, how would the conductor know what's going on? Train cars behind him. So that means this conductor was trying to appease a Karen, whether the Karen was an employee or a passenger. He felt that it was more important for the complexion of protection than actual facts. He left those women stranded that were trying to get home. And if those women would have met the same fate as a young lady that was forced to come into work and on her drive back from work got stuck in the snow for 18 hours and passed away, then what would Amtrak say? Amtrak, you can't even keep your trains on the track. You might as well change your name because it ain't Amtrak. It's ain't it a track sometimes? Maybe. Hmm. And I keep telling y'all, all skin folk and kinfolk. So don't come to me running in the comments going, but there was a black man that said, there's always a black man that's willing to throw a black woman under the bus, even more so now. When Steve Bannon put out that proclamation that they would have more black men in the Republican Party, where do you think the discord started coming from? Why do you think that there was such an influx of men with podcasts that were denouncing black women? Because they know when we are a united front, we are invincible. But see, here's the thing that the GOP doesn't realize. While you trying to chisel your way to black women, you ain't never going to be able to change us from the strife and from the fight. From day one, from sun up, We've always stood on the right side of history. Now, there's always outliers to every situation, but those outliers are small in number, and that's what gets on your fucking nerves. Because Black women are the most inclusive on this planet. Argue with your mama, your daddy, your pastor, I don't give a damn. Argue with your shaman over it. Tell me a more inclusive dynamic than Black women. I'll wait. But as always, thank you for joining me. And make sure you check out the links in the description, because Tastastic Tuesday, the audio podcast that I put down every Tuesday, which is very short, has dropped. And each one teach one, each one reach one. And I will see you all tomorrow. And actually tomorrow, my oldest son will be joining me, and we're going to talk about mental health. So bring a friend, bring a kin, bring whatever you need.
Here's an update on taxes you need to know. Starting in January 2023, the IRS is going to open the IP PIN program. The IP PIN is a 6-digit number that's there to protect you as a taxpayer from people stealing your identity and filing taxes on your behalf. Make sure you share this video with a friend and save it for later. And of course, follow for more financial tips.
So Elon hosted